It's the Underpowered Hour. On this week's show, Range Rover at the Milan Art Week. And then we're joined by Liza and Jenna for an update on all things Team Overland Her. And now, without further delay, here's the show. Welcome to the Underpowered Hour. I'm Steve Beres, mild-mannered television executive by day and Land Rover collector by night. You can find out more about our cars and what we're working on at theberescollection.com or follow us on Instagram at theberescollection. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Ike Goss.
Thank you to everyone joining us today. I'm the Darien Gap to Steven's Defender Trophy. I'm the easily communicable disease of podcasting, Ike Goss. I own and operate Pangolin 4x4 in Springfield, Oregon, where we live and breathe Land Rovers. Check us out online on Facebook, Instagram at Pangolin 4x4. Let's get started.
All right, Ike. Well, some exciting, I guess, art world / Land Rover news this week. Man,
I am really excited about this. This is coming out of the Milan Design Festival?
Yeah, I guess so.
Design Week.
Yeah. Design Week, yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting a pretty incredible collaboration between Range Rover and a number of other art professionals.
I neglected to mention when we started that we have our own design and art professional with us this morning, Jenna Fribley. Specifically to talk about.
Yeah, we want her take on this.
Oh my God. Oh my
Essentially, God. The press release reads as follows. The installation marks Range Rover's second consecutive year with a presence at Milan Design Week, and it specifically celebrates the Range Rover Bespoke, highlighting the elevated luxury, craftsmanship, and design that go behind the brand's pinnacle personalization service.
Of course.
This space brings together film, design, artwork, and sound in a curated experience for guests that mirrors and evoking a sense of infinite possibility and 3 chapters of experience telling a story.
Wow. So, I mean, where do you even go from there? I mean, that's pretty much got it all.
We might need a translator to determine what that exactly means.
I think you're right. And we're going to use our new sharing technology here to bring up the Land Rover press release website, which is featuring a woman in what looks like a costume from the leftovers, staring off into whatever the Range Rover's looking at. I guess it's a very interesting photo.
Well, I think she's looking at herself in the mirror.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe. I don't know. It's is the hood pink and the rest of the body like? Wow, interesting.
It might be.
So you've got some real interesting. Here's this. It looks like that same lady maybe is now confused as to why she and her 5 identical twins are just hanging out in this room full of lava blocks. Is that lava?
I'm not exactly sure. What I am sure is they do have identical outfits on. They're like white linen trench coats.
Yes, they are. That's right. And then there's some gentlemen in another photo here studying block walls.
These might be clones.
Oh, is that part of the exhibit that they've cloned these 2 people that they consider the ultimate in reductive design?
It's possible. Wow. They could also be pajamas. I'm not.
Oh, that could be a pajama. It's like a fancy pajama, like a pajama they give you on a first-class airline flight.
It is really interesting. Mm-hmm. So the article goes on to say that, there's 3 different, I'm going to call them.
Yep.
And the first is Memory in Color, and it features a film by Philippe Sanguinetti.
Okay.
And I probably pronounced that wrong, so I'm sorry for that.
Sorry. We'll get to his people and send a nice note.
The film explores his own memories from his roots in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and his life as a creative in Paris, each attached to various colors. Color is an integral part of the Range Rover story, with shades like Davos White, Maasai Red, and Bahama Gold having been part of Range Rover legacy since 1970.
That's true. That's true.
So they're making a connection between the original colors of Range Rover and this artist's memory of Argentina.
Interesting. And I'm now looking at a photo of the car. I'm pretty sure it's two-tone. Does it have a two-tone stripe around the wheel arch and the bottom of the door sill, or is that just a lighting?
I think you're right. I think it's possibly three-tone, pinky champagne color on top, and then a silver, and then maybe like a charcoal down below.
Yeah, down below, which is how I describe myself to people as well. Oh, here's this lady is now stealing something from the exhibit. She's got a pot, and she looks as though she's been caught in the act, but is very nonplussed about it, which is interesting.
The pot.
Yeah. No?
The pot. So the second aspect of this exhibit is also a little unclear, you know?
Yeah. There's trace. I guess, is trace the name of the thing, or what are we looking at? Traces, I'm sorry. Yes, traces.
So I think the concept is that you're following these aspects of Range Rover, and these artists are making these connections between, you know, their memories and places and all that sort of thing. But the second chapter, Memory and Motif, moves into a more intimate environment where 4 commissions artists have created illustrations from their memories of Milan.
Oh, I see. Of Mulan, the Disney film?
No, Milan.
Oh,
the
Milan.
City in Italy.
I see. Okay.
Almost the same thing.
Almost the same
thing,
yeah.
So here, and this is a little tough, but I'm gonna soldier through here. The Range Rover Bespoke Materiality team has in turn created an original embroidery artwork in response to each illustration. The works inspired by illustrations from Voss, Hannibal, and Lisa Rampilli, Petra Boner, and Julian are presented in a champagne gold mirrored vitrine set with columns and mirrored interiors, multiplying each piece into an infinite reflection.
I think that's what we're looking at now. I think if you were to describe that to an AI, it would make this photo, I believe.
The space is quieter and more enveloping, with linen-toned stretched fabric walls, a drop ceiling, and two-tone wool carpet. An original soundscape by sound designers Father Runs, continuously through both chapters, providing an invisible thread of continuity across the experience. I'm not sure why you're laughing.
Exactly.
This is impressive.
Yes,
this is impressive.
And this guy is looking at the, I guess it's embroidery with a Sherlock Holmes style magnifying glass, which hopefully is provided to each trench coat wearer who goes and explores this. Like, it's just the most absurd thing. I get it. I don't understand art. I freely admit that, but this seems just absurd. If not from the point of view of the Range Rover materials. So you're saying the seat embroidery people made these? Is that ultimately what we're talking about?
Let me go back to that because
materialists.
The materiality team.
Oh, of course, yes. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
They have created an original embroidery artwork in response to each illustration.
I mean, they're cool. I agree. So I just don't know what's happening anymore. I've completely lost track of the story here. I mean, these are very beautiful embroideries.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make a connection between these artists and what's going on with the Range Rover and the Range Rover design team.
Yeah.
But if it does feel like the connection to the vehicle is maybe a little tenuous.
And I would say at the very least, yeah. I mean, I don't know, Jenna, what do you think? This is pretty far out there for me, but
it's a little high concept. I'm trying to decide. I think they were alluding in the article to that then they took some of the inspiration from this to make some of the embroidery patterns in the car, maybe. I don't know. I couldn't quite figure out
car here and see what
or if they were completely disconnected. They talked about the Pearl of Tay being an inspiration for the car. But I don't know
what that means. But
maybe we can clarify with the third and final chapter.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one is Memory and Material, and that reveals the Pearl of Tay, a one-of-a-kind Range Rover Bespoke commission.
I see.
Inspired by the freshwater pearl of the River Tay in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
The space is designed as a kind of landscape. Black gravel underfoot. Pearlescent undulating fins running the length of the ceiling in reference to the water, and a full-length mirrored vitrines, not latrines.
The vitrines.
Either side.
That's the female version of a latrine, the vitrine.
I see. I see. Yeah. On either side, housing 14 objects curated by Bard, the Edinburgh-based shop and gallery of Scottish craft and design.
Jesus Christ.
So I think that's what you're seeing there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, that's obvious.
The Range Rover's in the middle, and then you've got all this stuff on the outside.
And Liza has joined us at exactly the right time, I think, as the Bard of Vitrine.
There's a lot of talk about latrines here. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Liza's a big fan of everything happening here.
Of latrines? I don't. Are we
the
talking about
vitrine. The vitrine. It's a vitrine.
Not latrine.
No, different. It's a different. It's a different thing.
I mean, like this car, I actually like some of the textures they put into the car in general. Like they're very topographic and like naturey, and like I could get on board with that.
I like these Range Rover letters. I mean, these are going to sell for a ton when somebody pops them off the hood and pawns them. But
are they mother of pearl? They look very iridescent.
No, what is it?
Maybe they are. It's the Pearl of Tay. It is a freshwater pearl.
Yes, the Pearl of Tay.
But maybe they did make the letters out of mother of pearl.
Look at that. I mean, they are not. I have to say,
Pearl of Tay is just nonsense, right? Have we already covered the fact that it's just kind of a nonsense name? I mean, I love it, but
it is all nonsense.
It doesn't mean anything to me.
You have no idea, Liza, how deep this nonsense goes with this.
I feel like I'm not educated or cultured enough to appreciate what's going on with this vehicle.
That's right, and it is. That's why we're strictly forbidden from owning one. If you are planning on owning one, you need to be one of these people. Which I think is the same person.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of wish I was one of those people. Like, I wish I was cool, like sophisticated enough to own a car like this, but I am not. That car it would be filthy in 2 days. I would destroy the interior of that car in 2 days.
Well, that's why you take it to the vitrine and wash it off, and you're good to go. You're good to go. No, you have to be a clone of one of these two people in order to own this car, I believe, is the notion here.
Are these the same people in the foreground as the background?
We don't know. We don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening in this art installation. I'm not sure what's happening at JLR at all right now, given the scope and scale of this particular project. I know that they have this embroidery team that apparently has done some nice work with dragons and flowers and things, and I just don't know what any of this has to do with selling a luxury automobile. But obviously, that's why I'm not.
Yeah, I think you're making a connection to these people who apparently have a great deal of money to spend, and so you're aligning your brand with a lot of this other seemingly pretentious stuff that costs a lot of money.
Yes,
so maybe that's right. I think that's the idea. They mention a lot of these things in the press release. So apparently this installation has a furniture partner.
Okay, of course. Any good car installation does.
Gooby. And they present... I don't know why that's funny to you. Gooby is a perfectly cromulent name. They present pieces in the cafe spaces, including Pierre Paulin's F300 lounge chair, Dom Miller chairs, private dining tables, Gooby bar settings, and Obello lamps. And they have shaped a layered composition where texture, tactility, and contemporary design meet, rooted in Gooby's vision of revisiting design icons while presenting new ones. The setting bridges memory and invention.
I feel like this entire thing is just some sort of like pretentious word scramble. But man, I gotta get like maybe bar setting.
Maybe they asked ChatGPT to just write the most pretentious thing possible, and that's what they came up with.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Well, you know what I like about this? It's good to know that even though Jerry's gone, somehow the legacy of completely absurd Range Rover marketing has persisted.
Do you think that Jerry left like notes for how to proceed, and they're just following Jerry's playbook after he's gone?
I hope so. They're certainly on the McGovern, let's make everything as ridiculous as possible. Now, again, I don't dislike this car. I like the fact that it's three-tone painted. There's very few manufacturers that could do that. I like the Range Rover emblem. No, absolutely no indication of how much this car costs, right? Like
it's one of a kind.
It's one of a kind.
It's priceless.
It's priceless, yeah. It's good.
Priceless.
Gooby may be buying it, actually. I think the Gooby, they're going to lend it to Gooby. And they're gonna. I believe actually it will be on display in Gooby's vitrine. So if you're looking to see this car in person after the,
If you're already at Milan Design Week, check it out.
Yep, absolutely. And you can actually, I believe, in the in-car entertainment system, they are going to be playing Disney's Mulan. So
I don't
you can
believe
check that out in the back.
I don't believe
you
that
sit down in the
for a
back,
second.
enjoy some Gooby bar.
So
things.
in other Range Rover news, we've got a Range Rover project going on in the shop, and I haven't really been paying a lot of attention. So
we need an update. I've seen some photos go through. I know actually it's funny, a lot of the design language I think is shared with this car, this new Range Rover.
We've got Gooby on board as a consultant.
You got Gooby on board?
Yeah.
How's your vitrine, Jenna? How's that llooking?
Oh, it's it's solid. It's solid. I mean, considering I've got the floors out, you can kind of vitrine anywhere you want. So.
Oh, nice.
This is disrespectful. I can't be a part of
We're
this.
going to get a letter from the art community at large, Okay, well, so you're, again, preparing this car. This is a classic two-door Range Rover, my favorite of all Range Rovers, and it's being prepared for some desert racing event. Let's talk about that for a minute. So where are we on the desert racing in a two-door Range Rover?
Well,
So,
we had to pivot just a little bit. I don't know if, you're aware of the geopolitical climate in the Middle East these days, but we decided that maybe 2027 was maybe not the right year to be an all-female, all-American team navigating Dakar for the first time. So we're pushing that just a little bit further into the future. We're still going to do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But maybe Saudi Arabia in January was maybe not the safest.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a great time to put our truck on a boat into the Middle East right now. Like trying to get it to the Middle East. That seems...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now-
That makes sense. Yeah.
Are we doing a ceasefire today, or was that yesterday?
I got to look. I have a widget for that. Just to tell you,
widget?
ceasefire, go, no go. I don't know. Yeah. Currently,
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
we are
Not ceasefire.
sort of, who knows. Yeah.
And it
We're-
will change 5 more times between now and when this podcast airs.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Okay. So we're looking at a different event in the desert Southwest.
We are.
And tell us about that.
Well, so, maybe what we should have been doing all along is now pivoting to become our primary plan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes when you pivot, you realize after you've made that pivot, well, that was dumb. Why didn't we just do that to begin with? That makes so much sense.
That makes
so
sense,
so since we're bumping Dakar probably to January of 28, we're now focusing for 27 on doing a different event to debut our 1972 two-door Range Rover. So we're going to do, drum roll, the NORRA Baja 1000 it's the very end of April, beginning of May of 2027.
Wow.
So what's cool about that event, and one of the reasons it's duh, we should have done this, is that it's A, domestic, B,
Yes, it doesn't require boats.
pretty close in the grand scheme of things. It's
for sure.
Solid day's drive away, but not, a month on a boat kind of situation.
Yeah.
It lets us shake out the vehicle in a actual rough competition environment before getting it put on a boat. And it's also a huge party. So whereas Dakar, we've really been struggling with the resources and space of can we afford a crew? How big of a crew? How many people can we bring? And it's very limiting, right? We're very limited. And it just feels, we'd love to...
Dakar is abhorrently expensive to bring people with you.
But
to have them
it's
be
very
part of your support
exclusive.
crew. It's very expensive. And so you have to be, knowing that we are not of unlimited resources, we had to be very picky, choosy about how we were going to approach that. But this event...
But this event is wild. So A, you have to have a crew. Not technically, I guess. There's no rules about it, but they don't provide your fuel, and you need fuel on course. So you need somebody chasing you with fuel and meeting you at these designated locations. So you kind of have to have a pit crew or a support crew.
Or at least the 2 live crew.
Two live crew, yeah.
No, whatever.
But on top of that, there's no restriction. There's no limit. They're not providing a place for you to stay at night. You have to coordinate that yourself, meaning it's all open. It's just as big of an Airbnb as you can get, right? So as many people as you want to tag along and who have the capacity to do that, there's no limit to
Amazing.
that. So
Amazing. Gypsies in the desert.
yeah, so
This was a really good idea. If only someone had told you sooner.
Yeah.
yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, so this credit all goes to Ike. This was his idea. He was like, why don't you think about Baja instead for 27? And then we looked it up. We're like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. So, yes.
That is a really good idea.
Kudos. Because we're really agonizing. Yeah.
I was so in favor of this that I actually started the Iran conflict.
That's true. It's true.
to make
A lot
it
of people don't
happen.
know that, but yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. I don't know if you know this, but I have a little pull in the
Your
Middle East.
reach is far greater than I ever anticipated.
Yeah. So
You bribe someone with like a sweet, sweet Land Rover part.
Yeah.
yeah.
Before Ike, it was the curve of Hormuz. So yeah, he was the guy who straightened
I was like, you
He was the guy who
gotta
straightened it, yeah.
you gotta close this this narrowing, this channel. You gotta close it. No? At any rate, no, I think this is a good idea and a good pivot. And, certainly from a logistics perspective, it is a little bit easier, gives you an opportunity to focus on the vehicle and your performance rather than all this, stuff surrounding the event. Like, how do I get my car across the ocean and
out of the U.S. trade embargo and through.
There's a lot less paperwork involved. So I think this will be good, and it'll give you an opportunity to compete. And honestly, it's a shorter event, but it's maybe
for sure. I mean,
more
just
intense.
the nature of wild dogs running across the course is much higher, or the occupants of the Baja Peninsula as well, just running across. Because it's also
totally
an opportunity, but
it's a different format.
Way less of a chance to hit a sea mine
Or a camel.
which is good. Yeah. Or a camel. Yeah, that's true. But you never know.
If you've seen video of this event, it is definitely no joke. It is it is certainly not any less rigorous than the Dakar. But
Liza and I got an opportunity to go to an event with our good friends at Cherry, the clothing brand, not the remakers of the Freelander, and they had a whole selection of different cars that have run the Nora there, a bunch of Myers Manxes and some of that, and it's a pretty rough and tumble sort of bit of car as well. So that's also kind of cool, you know.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, so the Nora 1000, there are two Baja 1000s, basically. There's the Nora 1000, and then there's the Score 1000.
Baja 1000.
Yeah. And so they actually started as the same event, and it just branched into those two over time. And so Nora really focuses on being a little bit more of a party in the desert, but it's still a pretty solid competition, but it has categories specifically for classic vehicles. Whereas the Score event is really focused on trophy trucks and things that, are as fast as possible. And
how much money?
How much money,
to a truck.
How many helicopters does your team have?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Nora one is just kind of more our vibe, I think. And we'll be entering in the oldest classification under the Pioneer era, which is pre-1975. And it's interesting because as we've been building the car, there's a decision tree from hell, like so many decisions that then, you have to make this decision, then it branches into 17 other decisions, right? And one of those decisions that we've been wrestling with, for a year is like, do we keep it carbureted? Do we go to fuel injection, right?
Fuel injection,
and with Dakar, we're kind of just on the cusp in terms of the age range where by 1985, which is the cutoff, the EFI would have been available on certain motors, so we could have put it on, but it wasn't fitted originally to my car, right? And so, but
and would you have had to have used a Land Rover EFI or any EFI?
No, they allow you to use, if it could have come with fuel injection, you can use fuel injection.
I see.
Right.
So you could use good fuel injection and not Land Rover's fuel injection.
Right.
Hey now, Lucas fuel injection is the pinnacle of
sure is.
1975 British fuel injection.
Exactly. Perfect, yeah.
But so it's interesting though, for the Nora event, we're actually more restricted in terms of some of the age-based upgrades.
Right.
So
I see.
It actually, if it was originally carbureted, it has to stay carbureted. So that made the decision for us. We were actually leaning that way already anyways, just from a durability perspective.
Nice.
So anyhow, it's interesting.
And could you upgrade to the Persian market high capacity carburetors as opposed to the standard North American and British ones, or do they restrict that as well?
I don't know. I'll have to look again. I honestly, I
don't think they restrict that.
The high octane, the Persian
But
market.
this brings up a good point. One of the challenges is you've got two, race organizations, and you're trying to, basically thread the needle and make sure that your vehicle complies with both, which
it's
is
tricky.
It is
Not
tricky,
all the things are the same. I mean, a lot of things are actually different. The roll cage specifically was one thing that I was really navigating both rule books very attentively to try to make sure we had checked all the boxes for both, and actually corresponding back and forth with the technical directors to be like, well, if, this cage requires this, would you allow that, in yours?
Right.
And so anyhow, we've navigated that, and we've been working on the roll cage, and we actually have recorded content to do a YouTube series. So that'll be posted soon.
That's going to be really fun. I love watching a good build series on YouTube, so very much looking forward to that.
It's in depth,
It's good.
Depending what topic area. People, if you're trying to do it yourself, you'd be enthralled by it. If you're not trying to be in that headspace entirely, you might fast forward some bits, but it's, it's all there. And so, so trying to navigate that has been interesting. One kind of really bizarre requirement for the NORRA is because they're trying to keep people in the pre-1975 category, two things available at that time. The rules explicitly say you can't have wheels larger than 15 inches. And that you are allowed to upgrade your brakes up to the extent that they will fit in a 15-inch wheel. And so they're trying to kind of limit that availability of parts because of the 15-inch wheel. But I had to email them and be like, here's a page of the original, factory, manual. Like mine, it came with 16s. Like, I'm not going to put 15s on my car. It came with 16s.
Well, also, I don't know that the stock brakes will fit with 15.
Right.
So anyhow, I got the exemption, but it was just like a shocker when I was reading through the book, and I was like, oh, that could be a problem. But,
very difficult to drive a new Range Rover with their 67-inch rims in there. It's very difficult.
Here's my advice for anybody who has ever dreamed of doing anything competitive in the automotive world. Before you do anything else, get a copy of the rule book, read it again, read it a third time, read it a 17th time, and you'll still discover things that you're like, what is that going to mean for us? And we like to joke about it on the Rebelle all the time, that we carry a printed copy of the rule book in the back seat at all times, and we access it frequently. But it's true. Jenna has done this Herculean task of pouring through all these rule books to make sure that we're compliant with all of them. And, like she said, the decision tree from hell that comes out of that is no small task. But honestly, that's my new piece of advice for anybody who ever thinks about doing anything competitive like this is, oh my God, get a copy of that rule book and start going through it bit by bit, word by word.
Yeah, and really at this point, I'm only focusing on the rules or the chapter of the rule book around the vehicle specifications, right? I haven't even gotten into all the competition scoring, all the things like that. Liza, thank God, in our Rebelle, she's the one who really, that's in her brain of the. Yeah. I'm always completely do, and she's pulling out the sat phone. I'm like, what you do? She's calling this in, the rule book says. I'm like, oh, oops, I would have messed that up.
So. Now, this has manifested itself in your roll cage, right? And you've made a lot of progress on that. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Ooh, yeah. It's starting to look like a race truck. It's exciting. So even though we're going to take it all apart again still. Yeah. But right now, it kind of looks a little trucky, race trucky. So, yes, I kind of mocked up this whole roll cage situation very poorly, but accurately. But flippity-floppity.
My second piece of advice is have a teammate that is an architect and is actually good at drawing and CADing. That's my second piece of advice.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, yeah.
So yeah, I mocked up all these various noodles of roll cage in the car with paper and wood and pipe and all sorts of stuff. And string, lots of string and tape. And then
it sounds a lot like that Range Rover art project.
It does. Yeah, it could have been. I could have embroidered it, right?
Yeah, you could have had the materialists team in there with you, and
Gooby could have helped us.
Gooby.
Maybe we can get Gooby to make us those race seats.
Sponsored by Gooby. Seats by Gooby.
Gooby, we're available. This is gold. Right
Yeah,
here.
you're in the brand partnership with Range Rover. Like, we're on it. Yeah.
We're
So
us too. Yeah.
So we worked with a local fabricator who does roll cages all the time. And just to kind of streamline the process here, we have so many irons in the fire on this project. And, could we being me and Ike, done this ourselves and probably bent and thrown away a lot of wrong bent tubes, but ultimately gotten there? Yes. But on the other hand, we also have all the other parts of the car to build. So for expediency, we teamed up with a guy locally who just, does this all the time, and took the truck over there to his shop and did the basic structure of the frame, got all the bends in there and the crossbars and, the main hoop and the side hoops. And we ended up kind of adjusting my diagram of how I had laid out the roll cage, but the math and stuff I did was still useful in the end. And just sort of having the vision of where we wanted the pieces to land. So anyhow, we have the car back now and still just very loosely tacked together pieces. And we will be taking it all apart again. But we still have to do we didn't do the windscreen bar yet. Because by the time we get the thing pulled apart and put it all back together, the tolerances on that are going to be so tight that it just didn't make sense. We just need to do that one once we've got the car put back together.
Right.
And I'm actually planning to do something a little next level. And I don't know if I already talked about this, but I'm trying to retain the original dash, which I know everyone thinks is really stupid, but I want the car to still feel like a vintage Range Rover,
That's really cool.
Not like not like a plane, an airplane, right? Like it needs to have like the dash. So anyhow.
This is a mistake.
I know. So we did some... We've got the pipes running down into the original heater vents, like out the dash. And we had to do a little surgery on that, but we'll put them back in. And then that's in the metal part, the substructure. And then ultimately, I'm going to carefully trim the plastic. We haven't figured out how yet, but very carefully to try to not have it just crumble into 1,000 pieces when we do it, to put the original dash back in. But then...
The British are known in the 1970s for their high-quality dashboards.
Yes, it's true. But mine's actually in good shape. It's not like broken or anything. And then... the final piece de resistance is going to be the binnacle. So the gauge binnacle has this plastic housing that goes over it that's absolutely going to conflict with this windshield bar that needs to go across. And so I'm going to have to cut that. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to butter it. Okay. And then fill it with spray foam and carve it and then kind of set it in there.
There's nothing I like better in a YouTube build series than when they bust out spray foam on an automotive.
Are you really going to spray foam? This is the first I've heard about this.
I'm trying to, somehow I need to make a mold of this thing to be able to mock up how I need to trim it, right? And
If only there was a thing where you could print in plastic.
Yeah. Well, see,
some sort of process where you could model
would you
it
like to borrow the laser scanner and you could scan it?
We could do that.
You could scan it. The spray foam sounds like way more fun. Especially the buttering part before the spray foam. I like it.
Yeah. I feel like what I need to do is butter my thing, make my foam mold, and then I can
quick trip to the vitrine.
Well, I can just smoosh it up into where the bar goes across to get where the dent needs to be to trim out the hole.
Why don't you just heat it up and then push it into the roller?
That's what I mean. I just smoosh it in there,
smoosh it in. We're just gonna smoosh it,
and then it'll give us a contour. And then I don't know how exactly to translate the contour. Maybe what I then do is I send my little foam lump to you, and you scan it, and you 3D print me one that I can use as a test mock-up. Or I could do something with tape and saran wrap and make one on the top. I don't know. We'll see.
I think it should be popsicle sticks. If I'm being honest, have you considered macaroni?
Yes, that would be. Actually, honestly, lasagna noodles would work really well because you could boil them, stretch them over and let them re-dry, and it would be great. And it would be the same texture as the original plastic.
No one is taking you seriously right now. This is. My race truck is made of
macaroni.
Of butter and macaroni and spray foam.
It's like a macrame kind of thing. I love it. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
Are you going to do a dash koozie? That's the question. Like one
for
of those,
cups?
like a dash sort of thing that they knit them or whatever. You can put them over the dash.
TBD.
Oh, are you guys going to do the
Yeah.
beaded seats? You going to do beaded seats?
I mean, we have to have.
in our
1970s,
Yeah,
right?
sure, yeah. Yeah, that'd be
1970s.
fun.
And
So-
it is period accurate.
I actually do have a vision for the seats. So they have to be FIA certified seats, race seats.
I see.
So
Okay.
this is a challenge because most
Yeah.
FIA certified race seats are butt ugly.
For race cars, too. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that there's
Yeah.
a huge amount for, like, truck-sized stuff.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, they are that, but they just aren't cute. Like there's,
Oh,
it's,
okay.
they don't
Well,
look.
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, but like it can look good at the same time.
Also, helmets from the 1970s, which will be great. They're just a fiberglass lid, like to a pail. They're going to be great. All right. Well, after some minor technical difficulty there, we are back, but we lost Ike. Unfortunately, there was an explosion and he went to work. So anyways,
he was attempting a spray foam dash
That's true.
configuration.
It was too much.
He used too much butter. It was too much butter.
Too much butter.
Too much butter. Well,
Yeah.
at any rate, we are all super excited about the two-door Range Rover Nora adventure. Can't wait. We're going to get all kinds of support team stuff. There's going to be merch. It's going to be amazing. I, for one, can't wait. And it'll be fun to watch you two go through that. What other racing events, as we wrap up here, are you looking at over the course of the next year and a half?
Well, I was just going to say real quick to the audience, if anyone in the audience has done NORRA and would like to help us figure out logistics, that would be real helpful because we have to basically find our own accommodations for us and our crew.
Yeah.
The entire multi-day length of the course. And
Yeah.
there is a lot of logistical stuff to figure out, even though it's not Dakar. It's a different kind of logistics that we need to figure out. So if anyone has experience and wants to just maybe share their 2 cents, or if they want to be part of our party posse going down the
Or
Baja
has like
Peninsula.
a Breaking Bad
yeah.
meth lab on
Yeah.
wheels that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
want to loan us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or has some cool, like a cool house along the route that we could crash at.
Oh, there's that too.
We
yeah.
can bring the party to you.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's going to be great.
So, And then in terms of other events this year, we are planning to do Rebelle in the fall. We're signed up. So stay tuned for more about that.
Very, very cool. Well, it's been tons of fun. I'm really glad that we all chatted this morning. I'm more excited now than I have been in a while. And
I'm gonna go swing by Land Rover Van Nuys on my way
Yeah.
to work today and just just check in on that Pearl of Tay
Yeah.
trim level and put my order in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You get to specify the color of your vitrine. So that's very important. So
The color of my vitrine is none of your business.
listen, we've all been there. All right. So,
It's between you and Gooby.
and on that note, it's been a slice, and we'll talk to everybody
Sure has.
next week.
Thanks.
See you on the trail.
The Underpowered Hour is produced by Liza Beres, Ike Goss, and me, Steve Beres. Pavel Svardov composed and performed our theme music. Consider supporting the show on Patreon, and if you already do, thank you. Your support makes the show possible. For even more, check out our Instagram or Facebook.